Aha!
Hi, welcome back to this channel again. When I started this channel about a week ago, the first thing I did was record a video on why I started this channel. And in that video, I mentioned that I would try to post one video per working day on a topic that stuck with me. And when I said that, I was kind of afraid that I wouldn't be able to do that. You know, there is only so much you can talk about, you would think. But either this year has started off with some very interesting first few days and I have a momentary abundance of topics to discuss, or, and that would be my guess, it will be fairly easy for me to find something to talk about each day. I'm currently keeping a list of a few things that are too interesting not to think about, so I will be posting them whenever I find the time. So a few days ago, I posted a video about ethics and how Romelu Lukaku ended up in a media shitstorm concerning an interview he gave to the Italian press. Now yesterday, my eye fell upon two other sportsmen that made it to the newspapers in a very colorful way. This time it was a Belgian goalkeeper, Simon Mignolet, and currently the #1 tennis player in the world, Novak Djokovic. So, the topic of today, abuse of status. The case of Mignolet. Okay, so, in Belgium, soccer players enjoy a very favorable regime when it comes to contributing to social security. In fact, it is so favorable that Mignolet pays about the same amount of social security taxes as someone that earns about 2,500 euros per month. For that someone, the social security contributions are roughly 1/3. Now, Mignolet doesn't earn 2,500 euros per month. In fact, he earns over 280,000 euros per month. For catching a ball, by the way. Therefore, he doesn't nearly contribute 1/3. In fact, it's closer to 0.3%. I will repeat, 0.3%. I'm not talking about Mignolet just because he can enjoy this favorable regime. If it's a legal system, then he has every right to profit from this as much as he can. And I'm not questioning that in any way. The question then rather is that legal system a fair system? And that's exactly what the government has been debating about lately. And here's where the abuse of status comes into play. Because the government wants to adjust that favorable regime into something that can be considered more fair, Mignolet invited himself to a sit-down with the Secretary of State for Social Affairs. Luckily, our secretary declined to sit down. Then there's the case of Djokovic. So, in Australia, it is at the moment mandatory for anyone who enters the country to be vaccinated against COVID-19. That, of course, implies that when you want to enter and are vaccinated, you can and you will show proof of vaccination. Now, Novak Djokovic doesn't really want to do that, so he's asked the Australian authorities for a medical exception. And after a weird game of diplomatic ping pong, he was denied access, and he won't be able to play the Australian Open. What we see in both cases are very famous people that are well aware of the fact that they have a large following. And it's that fact that they try to use to leverage politicians to decide in their favor. To me, that seems like they think, hey, I'm famous, so the rules don't necessarily apply to me. While I would argue that if you are famous, you should follow the rules more or less to the letter. Leading by example is not just a saying, and it worries me that people with so much influence on society give anti-social signals. Now, I must also say that I don't believe that all famous people chose to be famous. Sometimes it just happens, but you do have a social responsibility when that happens. I don't often close an argument with the following saying, but here goes. With great power comes great responsibility. Hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.